So yesterday I had a very good chap who reached out to me, and I was so baffled when he spoke to me. And he said, "Rick, what makes a marriage work?" And I said, "You might not believe what I'm going to tell you, but while we were busy in the counseling session, I said, this has no medical connotation, but I'm going to tell you what exactly makes marriages work." The guy feasted his eyes open, ready to listen, and he's from the US. And I said to him, "You're a believer, right?" And he said, "Yes, I'm a believer. I got saved." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." And I said, "What did Christ do before he got his wife, or before he got engaged to his wife?" He said, "No, he went to the cross, he died, and he shed his blood." And I said, you got the right knowledge." And I said to him, "No man can ever build a proper, solid, gratification marriage without his will dying." "What do you mean, Rick?" And I said, "Look, when Christ was in the Garden of Gethsemane, the first thing that Christ did, he had a will of his own, the Bible tells us. He looked at what was coming and he said, 'Father, not my will, but your will.' And he went and died on the cross. Now, no man can be a proper husband without adopting the will of the Father in heaven. It's not possible. No man can be a proper father and a husband without killing his own selfish, prideful, self-willed will and adopting the one of the Father. The place of a man submitting his own will to the Father is a place of death. That is why no man can become a proper husband without his will submitting to that of the Father. That is why when Jesus was dying on the cross, he had to do that because that was the will of the Father. The place of a husband is a place of death. It's a place of dying. It's a place, that's why when men get married, the first thing they'll tell you is, "This thing is difficult, man. This thing is taking so much from me. You know, I feel like giving up. I feel like cutting out." Why? Because it's a place of death. You know, being a husband is not a place of just being sexually fulfilled every day from your wife. It must be fun. It's a place of death. That's what they've never told you. That's why many men fail at it. And you know what's even worse? Submission of a woman to a man is a place of death as well. That's why women resist submission. They resist it. Do you know why? Because when her will has to die and adopt to the will of the husband, whose husband's will has also died and adopted to the will of the Father, she sees that is too much. So she's willing to get married, to get sexually satisfied, to get the man to spend, to try and have that easy life, to try and have all those types of things. That's why when the Bible says a woman must submit to a man, it's telling her she must come to a place of death. She has to die daily. That's why a lot of people are struggling in marriages, because they are not ready to die. They're not ready. And it takes maturity to understand the message that I'm giving you today, because if you're not ready to carry your cross and die to self, you will never have a successful marriage. You will never reach 60. That's why when you hear men divorcing, "Oh yeah, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that, she doesn't do this," you're always blaming. But the fact is, have you died to self? Do you know to buy your children clothes is sacrifice? To pay for their school fees, it's sacrifice. To pay for a bond and work for 20 years, 15 years, 30 years, it's sacrifice. To go out there and choose your children first to eat over yourself, it's sacrifice. You are dying to self. You are literally doing something for somebody else. So when a person reaches a selfish state, they will never die to self. And it's dangerous for a woman to marry a man who has not died, his will has not died, and yet adopted the one of the Father. It's very dangerous. That's why they will kill you. They will murder you. They will treat your emotions like a carcass. They will depress you. They'll make you sad. They will fight you. They'll treat you like a man. Why? His will has not died to self. The same as a woman, my brother. If the woman cannot submit, she cannot kill her selfish ambitions. She will use you. She will make sure that she takes everything from you. She will divorce you, take your money, your kids, everything, because she's not willing to submit to you. Now I'm telling you today, that's what builds marriages. When you come to a state of sacrifice. And I know some of you will comment, how long we gonna sacrifice? How long we gonna... You are the one that chose him. You are the one that chose her. I know you knew what you were doing. So now that she or he is showing you flames, today marriage sucks, today, marriage is a scam, marriage is this, that, you are not ready to die to self. That's why you talk like that. That's why you have no successful marriage. That's why you are even divorced. That's why you are even not, that's why you can't even get married, because you're not ready to kill your own will. No marriage works without the adoption of the will of him that created marriage. You can go to all the therapists, you can go to all the psychologists, you can go to all the marriage counselors, until whatever level of knowledge they give you is a knowledge of dying to self. You are wasting your money, your time. You are literally just wasting every resource that you have in your cabinet. That's what I've noticed. I mean, yesterday we had 3 couples that we counseled. And truly, they all came. Now we went to that therapist, went to that marriage counselor, went to that. And I said, is it working? They said, no, nothing has changed and so forth. And I said, I'll tell you what the problem is. You can't die to self. You can't. My brother, to love a woman requires a love that even the world cannot give. Do you know how hard it is to love somebody who doesn't listen to you, who doesn't support you, who doesn't fight the battles of life with you, who doesn't even cherish you, who speaks more of another man than you? Do you know how hard that is to love such? Do you know how hard it is for a woman to love a man who's drinking his life away, who is literally sitting down and speaks bad about you, and literally sits down, destroys your emotions, your credibility everywhere? Do you know how hard it is to submit to such? If you made a choice and you decided to marry what you married, don't blame marriage. Blame your own decision making. If you are not ready to die to self, you are not ready to marry. You were never fit for marriage. And that is why there is no marriage counselor out there that can fix your problem without your selfish ambitions taking a back seat and taking the will of the person who actually created marriage.